Hi, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome. So today's lesson is the beginning of lesson 2.1. This will be video 1 of 2 for this particular one because remember this year I'm splitting these videos up to make them shorter for you. This is all about writing equations. Now it's a lot of words because what we're going to make sure you guys can do is you got to be able to take the words, the written words that you guys have seen in word problems and other areas of life and convert those into numbers. So let's get going on these. Very first thing you want to do when you set this up is we're going to skip through the bell work. We're going to have, you guys have evaluated and simplified. Now we're going to translate, okay? We're going to be taking everything that we can and we're going to be translating it into an actual formula. All right, so simple enough. We're just writing these formulas out today. We're not solving anything. We're not doing anything crazy. We're just making sure that we can identify what is being written there. Okay, so for example, the sum of 8 and Maribel's age, M, is 62. So you know the sum is going to be addition. It's going to be the sum of 8 and Maribel's age, M, is a key word. It always means equals 62. That's it. I'm not asking you to solve it. Now you can go the other way. And that's it, okay? Just translate. Today's translation, that's all it's about, okay? The difference, now if you remember we talked about earlier, the difference is subtraction of Helen's age and 2 is 26. Now this one you have to write it as you see it, okay? The difference of Helen's age and 2 is 26. You wouldn't flop that around because then you're telling me that Helen's a negative age. We're not Benjamin Button here. All right, the 96 is, so you'd write 96 is equals the product. All right, product is always multiplication of Rick's savings, S, and 6, okay? So you basically put 6S. Now, if you write it like it says 96 equals S times 6. I'm okay with that. The problem is that most of the time, do we see it like this one? We see it like the one on top, okay? That's why we do that. All right, the quotient is dividing, okay? The quotient of Vidya's age, V, and 7 is 112, okay? So what you're doing is you're taking a quotient and you're dividing it, and her age, the quotient of it is 112. That cannot be true. All right, but it's just a statement that's put in there. I'm reading that, I'm like, so you're telling me this has got to be the world's biggest number, and 7 is 112. Okay, we didn't say this one was realistic, but we know that's the age, all right? So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It's just making sure you guys can do these, all right? This one's more simple, right? Your turn. All right, hopefully you guys paused the video, and then when you did, you were able to kind of see the setups of these. All right, the difference would be subtraction of Janelle's savings, J, and 20 is 45. 62 is the sum of, so we know it's the sum of something, of 12 and H, Helen's age. Quotient of Vanessa's height, V, and 4 is 16. That's how you would write that one. And 26 is the product of Vanessa's savings, V, and 2, right? So make sure you guys understand how the setup works. Okay, if I went too fast on that, rewind the video and figure it out. I know key phrases here. You guys need to learn those key phrases if you have not already figured them out. Okay, translate sentences into equations. Okay, now we're going to start writing these sentences into larger equations, okay? We're going to be doing things on both sides. So you got to take it slow, understand what the vocabulary is saying to you, and then you write them out. Okay, so a number B divided by 3 is, okay, so we know once you get to is that you're splitting an equation in two, all right? So you can stop where you're at, or you can back up, or however you want to read it. A number B divided by 3, okay? So we know a number B is going to be divided by 3. Is equal to, okay? So we know we have is equal to 6 less than C. If you remember, this one was the only tricky one that we have. It's not this, C minus 6. Remember, or 6 minus C. Remember, it is C minus 6, okay? You don't write. This is the only one, when you see less than, that you swap it, all right? And so that would be 6 less than C. So C, and then you take 6 away from it. So if you have a letter C and you take 6 away, that's how you would illustrate that. All right, 15 more than Z times 6. All right, so we got 15, and then it's more than, so we know that's addition, Z times 6, okay? So it would be 6Z is. And then you continue on the other side. It'd be Y times 2 minus 11. So let's think about how you would write this out, right? Y times 2, so you have 2Y minus 11. Now, if you were to go and read this out like it states, all right, now some of you may be thinking, how did you get that? Well, remember, it's 15 more than, so it's plus Z times 6. So you could have been Z times 6, just like that. Okay, I rewrote it to make it seem where you guys are similar to that, right? Equals, and then you would go is Y, and then it'd be times 2 minus 11. So that's the way it's supposed to look, but from a physically appealing kind of visual appealing, I guess you should say, look, you want to go with the top equation, all right? So this is the right way to do it, but technically we want to rewrite it to make it look like more appealing to what you guys are used to. All right, 6 times the sum of a number Y and 3 equals. All right, so we know we got equals 9, so we have equals here, so we know something equals 9. All right, so now it's good sometimes to reread the whole thing to make sure you guys understand. All right, so it's 6 times, so we know we got 6 out here. So if we have 6 times something, and then it says in here, the sum of a number Y and 3. If we were to just isolate that, the sum of a number Y and 3, we would write that as Y plus 3, right? So what you guys have to understand is now we're going to take this little section and you're going to plug it into here. So it looks like this. So what you guys need to understand with this, and which is why we're doing this, and it's very important, is that we are breaking these down into little sections, okay? So as we go through this part, all right, this is 6 times. That's one section, all right? The sum of a number Y and 3 is another section. And then the final section is equals 9. So there's 3 pieces here, right? 1, 2, 3. So please make sure as you read these equations that you guys are understanding and breaking these down individually, okay? So it's twice the difference of a number W and 6 is 8. So I know we're ending with 8, all right? So I got that part done. But once again, right, it says twice, and then it goes the difference of a number W and 6. Remember, difference is subtraction. So it'd be W minus 6. The problem is it's twice that difference. So what you guys need to understand is what goes in front is a 2. All right, so more complex. Your turn. All right, so for some of you in here, this is going to be a struggle because you're like, man, what are these words? So just take it in pieces, okay? I can't stress enough. Just do these in pieces and try to figure these out, right? 2 plus the quotient of a number and 8 is the same as 16. Okay, so we know we're ending it with 16. We know it's equal to 16. Now, I'm going to get rid of this because it's kind of creeping me out. All right, so we got 2 plus the quotient of a number and 8. All right, so we got 2 plus. Okay, if I get rid of the 2 plus, what's left? The quotient of a number and 8. Isn't that what we just did before? The quotient of a number and 8? So basically you're telling me it would just be x over 8? That's it. Okay, now the variable you stick right there is up to you. I forgot to put one in on here, so that's the actual answer. Okay, so please make sure you just read it, take it in piece by piece, right? All right, 27 times k is, well, that's 27 times k is, ooh, that was hard, all right? H squared decreased by 9. Okay, h squared decreased by 9. Simple enough, okay? All right, so we know the sum of 8 times a number x and 6 is 2. All right, so I know I can end this thing with 2. So let's get rid of what we can. Okay, and then I got the sum of So we're adding the sum of 8 times a number. So it's going to be the sum of two numbers. This one, 8 times x, and 6, just like that, okay? Now, yep, that's right. Okay, so my notes are wrong. That's why I was hesitating for a second. The difference of n divided by a number w and 8 is 4. So we're ending with 4 again. Okay, the difference of 9 divided by a number. So we remember the difference is subtraction. Okay, so we know it's going to be 9 divided by a number w, and we know it's going to be 8. All right, simple enough. Just make sure you read through it slowly to get through it. All right, so now you guys are going to start running into other translations. Okay, now we're going to have to go backwards and reverse. We're going to have to take this equation and translate it. The better you get at this, the easier word problems become for you. Now, we've talked about this before. I am not very good at word problems still to this day. Okay, you guys might be the same way, and that's okay. That's why we're here to try to figure this out. So we'll read this as we go. The only wrong answer is not to do this. You can change out some of the language as we go through this, but please understand the basic concepts behind it. So like we would start with 12, right? Because we know what that is. And then I always like minus. Okay, and then it's, what is that? That is 2 times, so it would be 2 times a number x. Okay, because that's what it is, okay? It could be, you could put the product of 2 and x, but just kind of understand what you're doing here, okay? And then that would equal -5. Okay, that back end is easy. Or it could be is equals to something like that, all right? Now the other one over here, same kind of thing. As you read it, you've got to write it down, okay? So remember, it's 3. Let me change the color to differentiate between the two. And then there's a multiplication sign here, so it'd be 3 times. And then what is this symbol in the middle? That's a sum, okay? It'd be the sum of, and then you would put a letter, you could put a letter G, you could put G, it doesn't matter, okay? But it's between the sum of a letter G and 8, okay? And then it equals, I always like to use equals, you could use is if you want, it's up to you. Okay, and now same thing, it would be, write it as you see it, 4 times h, and then it ends off with -10. The idea behind this concept is to make sure you guys can see it, understand it, and write it down. Okay? Your turn. Try the best you can on these. Okay, so on this one, we're going to finish it off. This is going to be 15 equals. And then we have 25, number 25. There's a multiplication sign in there, so it's supposed to be times, and then the letter u squared. You can put the power of 2 if you did already. And then I would say plus 2, right? Now you could write it differently. You could put the product, or you could put more than 2, okay? You could put the addition of these two numbers, right? You could put the addition of 25, and so 25u squared, you'd write that out, and 2, something to that extent. All right, but just please make sure you guys understand what your setups are going to be and how you would write it. So the last one here would be, I would put 3 divided, oh, I did not spell that right, sorry, by 2. And then what happens next? It would be times r. So if you knew you saw this, 3 divided by 2 times r, you'd be like, oh, okay, that's 3 divided by 2 times r. Back up and see if you can do that, okay? Just make sure you are on the same page. And then it's minus Okay, r, what is that? I mean, that's not an r. Minus t, and that's to the power of 3. And then it equals, and then you'd write that out, 132. A lot of words, but hopefully you guys understand the concepts behind it in my chicken scratch. All right, 3 divided by 2 times r. If you stop at that point, can you physically write this? Yes. Minus is the next one. T to the power of 3, because that's what we have up here, equals 132. All right, so that's it for this first video. We'll have another one in a second with the other page. Good luck so far. I hope it's been going well. If it hasn't, back the train up. Watch it again.